Good morning and welcome to Coffee and the Word, live from Denton, Texas. So live and on remote, I'm outside in this park. It's kind of neat to be up here with my kids. I'll get to hang out with all of them today. Anyway, today is Q&A, and I told you we would continue talking about angels. And so I want to take a little bit and ask a couple of questions. And the first question, and I think maybe a question that we get asked more than anything else, or maybe we're not even asked, it's just there's an assumption about this, and it's this: do we become angels when we die? And I hear a lot of people say, well, he got his wings, and he's an angel now. And the truth is that angels are very specific beings. They are not dead saints. They're not what we become. They're not who we become. Angels were created by God before we existed, before the foundations of this earth. In other words, in the beginning, God created, and we don't actually know when, but at some point, God created these beings called angels, and they're separate and they're not human at all. In fact, we were created in the image of God, and the story that is told about our creation is very clear, right? Genesis chapter 1, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, and God said, let us make mankind in our image. During that time, angels were present. They were already in existence. And so, in fact, an angel is sent after the fall to guard the gates to the Garden of Eden. And so there isn't any evidence, there isn't any suggestion in Scripture that we will become, when we die, angels. But there's something interesting that I want to make sure you understand, because I don't want us to get, this isn't bad news. It's not bad news that we will not become angels. In fact, what the Scripture tells us in 1 Corinthians chapter 15 is that while not all of us will die, and all of us meaning all of mankind, there will be people who are alive when Jesus comes back, and we won't all die, but we will all be changed. We will all shed this mortal body for an immortal body, this earthly being for a celestial being. And so what's going to happen to us after we die is we will take on a new form, a heavenly form. But from everything I read in Scripture, it isn't going to be an angelic form. We are heirs and co-heirs with Christ. That isn't something that is said of angels. They are called ministering spirits, here to minister those who have been saved. In other words, part of their job is to bring us and help us accomplish the work of God. And so that's the first thing that I kind of wanted to make sure we discussed, is we will not, as far as I can tell, and I'm open to discussion about this, but as far as I can tell, we will not become angels any more than animals will become people. We're different created beings, and I think that's very, very important. There's a couple other things I want to kind of share with you about angels. And the first thing is we need to understand that angels are intelligent beings. They're emotional beings. They each have a personality, just like we do, and they have a will, and they are spirit beings. They don't have physical bodies. In fact, I'm afraid that, as with a lot of things, we've allowed Hollywood to shape our idea of what angels look like. There are times when angels appear in Scripture as people, and they're in human form. There are times in Scripture when angels appear as something extremely extraterrestrial, celestial. There are times when they appear in such a way that it terrifies people when they are in their presence. And so I think it's important that we understand that angels aren't us with wings. Angels are something completely different, and they are their own entity of created beings. There are both good and bad angels. Apparently, Lucifer is talked about, this morning star is talked about falling from heaven and taking part of the angelic hosts with him. And so there's that concept. we hear about this concept of seraphim and cherubim, and those are in Scripture as well. And I'm not going to get into what all that is just yet. There is only one archangel mentioned in Scripture, and that's the Archangel Michael. There's another angel named Gabriel who's mentioned, who is the one who announces or tells people that Jesus is going to be born. And so there's several times in Scripture where we see angels show up and do some really cool stuff. Angels were there at Sodom and Gomorrah. Angels were there, like I said, at the birth of Jesus. Angels will be with Jesus when he comes back to claim his own. And so I think it's really important for us to have the right understanding about angels. And one of the things that I want you to understand more than maybe anything else is that it's not something that we're going to become. And we shouldn't pretend that we're going to become it. We shouldn't desire to become it. What God has planned for those who love him is going to be great and wonderful and amazing. And I look forward to it. So for today, this has been another edition of Coffee and the Word. Have a great, great day. God bless you.